keep flowing. So far, Spider-Man, I know a lot of people are not very excited about this set. I know a lot of people are moping and just not having a good time with the flavor and everything. But as far as like its impact on modern, like the deck building has been really, really interesting. Specifically, this deck, this deck is my favorite so far in the sense that it is just like a breath of fresh air. The way that it is like a very kind of classic modern deck with the Humans Core, all of the Cavern of Souls style lands, and Aether Vial, while also just being a deck with a lot of fast mana with the Mox Ambers, a lot of card advantage between Basim, Satoru, Haliya, Relic of Legends, and then a new infinite combo with Yera and Otski slash some kind of spider person. Now, this is our kind of 2.0 of the deck here, where I had this card on my radar on my very first. So I don't know where's my slider bar. It's usually right here. I had this card on my radar on the first draft. I decided to not pull the trigger, but I really regretted it after playing the first round. This is Reki, the History of Kamigawa. Very simple card. 3 mana 1/2. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, draw a card. Now that is basically the whole deck, with the exception of Relic of Legends, Aether Vial, Guide of Souls. Every single spell on the deck is a legend. Notably, you have some like really powerful, or like Mox Amber just being a 0 mana draw card is really nice. But you also can like cycle your Norin the Waries, which is really good. But this kind of repeatable card advantage is really, really valuable because you usually have a lot of cards in your hand from between Haliya and Basim and Satoru. You have a lot of cards that you're drawing, but a lot of times you kind of get stuck because each of these only draw one card a turn. But more than that, what Reki is, it's also a win condition when you assemble your combo. So you have the combo is with Relic of Legends. If you have 2 of these, Yera and Otskis, you can just tap 1 to Relic of Legends, make a mana, pick it back up, put it back into play. And so this can give you infinite life, infinite energy off Guide of Souls, infinite damage off Arbaaz, which is like the actual way you kill your opponent. But now with infinite card draw, you'll eventually just be able to draw Mox Ambers and draw Arbaazes and put these into play to actually win the game immediately. And what's cool about this too is if just playing more Rekis makes a lot more sense than playing more Arbaazes. This is a card that's like you're fine to have in multiples because either they just cycle or you're really happy to have your like powerful source of card advantage after it dies. And it just gives you this big velocity through the deck with Relic of Legends, which is just such a crazy mana engine in the shell. And then one thing that is notable is that in some situations, you'll draw too many cards where you won't be able to kill with Arbaaz with Reki, but you can avoid that once you draw your 3rd Yera. So you just bounce the Reki back to your hand, but you need the 3rd Yera to do that. But if you're drawing infinite cards, that's not a problem. So just notable there. In order to make room for the Rekis, we're down 1 Haliya, 2 Arbaazes, and 1 Haliya, 2 Arbaazes. And I also had I was playing 1 Spider-Man. I don't know what the Omen Path version of that card is. Again, I'm trying to use the Omen Path names more often, but I did not feel like the just generic in web slinging white 3/3 really added enough to the deck. It was okay sometimes, but I think that one was fine enough to cut. Didn't feel like we really needed it to have access to the combo because the idea really is that this deck is just like it's a lot of fast mana. It's a lot of card draw. You're going to assemble your combo eventually, and you're also going to get some nice beatdown stuff with like Guide of Souls and Basim and some protection and interaction with Jirina. And then you get to play a lot of nice interactive sideboard cards too. We're up a Thalia, up a Lavinia, kind of largely for the Belcher matchup. There's kind of a weird. Maybe this is a good time to talk about it, but so despite Belcher being such a popular deck over the weekend and putting 2 copies of the modern top 8, it really did not do that well. Basic Plains really punishing us here with our quadruple Dimir hand. Gonna go to 5. Go to 4. Tough to mull to 4. Let's keep Basim. Satoru probably. Did you miss Hollowvine? We played a little bit of it on Friday. Matt Costa's Jeskai Blinkless with 4 Flage, 4 Consign. Yeah, the Fables are a little weird. I think that makes some sense. But definitely, those look like a great build for the metagame. Yeah, it looks great. Well, I didn't see this one. I played in Hades 2. I did play a lot of Hades 2 over the weekend. And so did Esther. I think the prowess player botched game 5 and should have won it all with the rest of the field blue, white, Belcher. Maybe. Yeah, prowess was really good against Belcher. Hey, Drex at 20 months. Welcome back. It's a pinned at the top of the chat, Chicken Wing. Biggest takeaways: you should always have at least 2 Besages on the side and play your games out and not gift control players at win. That sounds like a good attitude to have. All right, we've multi 4, but we're about to draw a bunch of cards in a matchup where they don't have a lot of removal, so things might be fine here. What changed in the humans build? We're playing Reki. Reki. Okay, that's a great draw to pop off with my Satoru. The thing is, can Belcher stay a top deck if it's easy to hate on? So I think no. Like and this has been a thing with Belcher existence, the metagame for a long time, is that it does well. So this has kind of been the ebb and flow in Modern for the last year. Boros is very dominant, it's doing very well. Combo decks emerge to do well against Boros because that's what preys on it. Belcher then emerges because it's the combo deck that's still good against Boros and is particularly good against other combo decks because it plays so much counter magic. And then the metagame adapts to where you have decks that then Belcher falls out of then Boros falls out of favor, and then you can have a lot of like weird brews or like Control or Psychic Frog, this kind of stuff. Frog decks specifically, probably that they tend to do well against. They tend to do well against the. What do I want to draw here? Probably just want to cast Norin first. These decks tend to do well against the Belcher and the other combo, and then Boros comes back. That's been like the natural metagame progression for the last year or so. So my opponent has a Rebuke. We'll see if they counter this. It sounds like you said Belcher beats everything. I'm not sure if Belcher can be hated out that easily. I'm telling you as someone who plays Modern full time. I love when Belcher is really popular. I love when Belcher is really popular because it is a deck you can just crush. There are a ton of cards in every deck in every color that gives you access to the tools to just like be so happy that you're queued against Belcher. Demir Frog especially, but like just there's just a lot. There's just a lot that makes you happy to play against Belcher. But again, it's like this is the natural progression for the year. This isn't new what happened at the PT. Boros dominates, combo rises, Belcher rises because it's good against combo and Boros. Then Frog, Control, other decks rise to prominence because they're very good against this new metagame, which is all combo and Belcher. Then Boros comes back to be good against those decks. This is just the cycle that we've been experiencing for like a year straight. And I'll say that this part of the cycle is my favorite part of the cycle because with Boros being less popular, it allows you to get really weird with it. And of course, that's what I like to do. Why do you think there was no Eldrazi to be found at the PT? There was an Eldrazi Tron deck that top 8'd, right? But like the ramp Eldrazi deck's like really bad against Belcher, really bad. I think not very good against Gorios. What you're saying is to ban Guide and Flage. There's like 5 cards I would probably ban, but and there's several I would also unban. But yeah, I mean, yes, I just want to do whatever y'all's agenda is, of course. Okay, so obviously this is really nice with our Relic of Legends. Do I want to still put one into play this turn and tax their artifacts? No, we're not gonna. I don't want to. I know I just opened the conversation a little bit, but I really don't want to talk about bans today. I would much rather just talk about the PT. We could talk about bans later. I think overall Modern is in a good place. I think Modern could just be in a better place, and we could kind of escape this cycle a little bit. But overall things are good, and I don't think that we really need to spend our day post PT with a bunch of new decks whining about bans all day. Weird they didn't equip the boots or they didn't crack the bauble. Sorry, opponent. My opponent's a fan. You gotta crack the bauble. You have nothing in your hand. Yeah, Dingo requeued for the PT, which is really exciting. Dingo played Neoform. Is it possible the poor Belcher record outside of top 8 is because they didn't play the deck as well as these two guys? Not really. Not really, I think. Like, I mean, obviously the two top 8 players, you know, you could assume that they did. Oh, they top deck the Kappa. You can obviously assume that they played, you know, really well. But, you know, everyone at the Pro Tour plays very well. Everyone at the Pro Tour is really experienced with their decks and the matchups. It's very rare that you run into people playing bad. And also look at the sample size. It was almost 300 matches. Like when the sample size is that big, the question of like inexperienced pilots, it just kind of falls a little bit more, right? When 5-1 limited 5-5 Martyr. Yeah, I don't think Neoform was a very good choice, honestly. It was okay, but it was just like a really bad choice against like the Goryo's Belcher metagame, I would think. Am I considering Haliya and even need my energy builds? I like it in Quantum Energy. I think that it's good there. Can I link it? I did link it. It's at the pinned comment at the top of the stream. Interesting to leave a thought monitor back. I'm down to 7 live. Okay, now they cracked the bauble. So we do have some outs to win the game here. Oh, I didn't realize I was making my relic cost 1 more. That was maybe... I guess that was a really costly mistake. What was Dingo's tech? What you thought you should play? Yeah, Dingo had 4 Hex Drinker in the sideboard of his Neoform deck. And I just kind of thought, like, wouldn't this just be better as... I need to draw exactly Haliya or Guide of Souls to gain infinite life. Yeah, but I thought I thought it would just be better as Collector. Drew Norin the Wary. They have an artifact, so let's go to game 2. Did you discuss which decks you've been done for PT? I would have played Titan. That's what I've been saying, is that I would play Titan. I would have, I think, just spent the vast majority of my time. I would have tested some other decks, but for the most part, I just would have I would have been pretty locked in. Yeah, I think I want to keep 4 Amber, 3 Vial again. I think I liked that last time. How does Titan fit in that cycle? Titan is just literally always good, is the thing. I don't want to rant about it too much, but like this is the part of the metagame where Titan is at its worst. So like again, the metagame of being like Boros is dominant, Combo's dominant, Belcher rises to police both, Frog and other decks get good. Sorry, Titan is worse at that part, and then when Boros comes back, Titan's being better. But this is just generally not a good time for Titan, where Belcher is so popular. Goryo's isn't a great matchup for it either. Titan, of all the decks that were heavily represented, you notice like that these numbers is much bigger than all the control. Although control is maybe not a, although it did have a better record than like normal control. It had the highest win rate. It had a much higher win rate than Belcher or Goryo's or Energy at this event. Oh, which I think is pretty interesting. Despite it being, I think, what most people would identify as, again, not an ideal metagame. Gab's team played my Azorius Blink. Well, it was like Gab's version of the Blink deck, which I think is really a really good evolution. Yeah, Brutescale does seem underplayed. I think Brutescale is great. A great choice. Is Kansai main deckable going forward? Maybe for a little bit. It's always been kind of main deckable, but like things are gonna be different from what the PT looks like too. Did you see Shuhei had my weapons manufacturing clause? Like, I didn't know, but I am a Shuhei fan. I guess I lead on Satoru because it doesn't have a Galvanic Blast. Sorry, Shuhei, right? You said Control because more power when Belcher rises, but lost 3-0 to the finals. Control becomes more popular when Belcher rises, but lost to 3 over 5. Yeah, I mean, this is a data point, but look, we can look at bigger data here. So you look at Azorius Control, and then you go and you scroll over to versus Tamashi Belcher, 58%. You know, it's like you just have to look at the bigger numbers rather than like a single match. Ooh, ugh, scary. Thoughts on the Gagari Brood scale with Yawgmoth, Grist, Cauldron throwback? A lot of people get really excited about that deck, and I just never see it really do very well, I guess. Y'all want to play Kataki? So I can cast it off the Plaza of Heroes, so I don't need to name human here. Or I don't need to name spirit, sorry. I do need to, I guess, play Norin first, so I definitely get the tutorial trigger. Was there more innovation than I expected? I think this was about what I expected. The builds to be no, there was no deck that was like a brand new brew, but like every list was really teched out, which is usually what you can expect for a pro tour. And like again, the meta games usually get kind of weird and inbred, which is also like just what happened here. Seven five is not a sample size you can consider. It's a bigger sample size than the single PT match. It is low, but there's also more data here too. There's also more data where you have like Jeskai Blink against Tamashi, which is just one match, but it's 100, and you have Jeskai Control, which lost its one match to Belcher. So definitely kind of small. And then there's Jeskai Chant, which was 3-0 against Belcher. So it's a little bit more than just 12-0 or the 12 matches. I agree. Like this is for everything with the PT for the most part is a small sample size. You know, the one thing we know for sure, Eldrazi Tron against Amulet Titan. 0% over 13 matches. That's a bad matchup. 0% over 13 matches. You have to consider how much testing they did to pick the deck so get some credibility. I mean, I agree, but it's also like PT metagames, like when it's testing too, it's like all the tech and everything. But the majority of PT players have put a lot of time in testing. You know, it's obviously some people are better than others, some people spend more time than others, but the Pro Tour is a big pressure cooker. It's very tough. Most represent deck, everyone was prepping for it, likely still having a positive win rate, lots of 50-50, no battle others. Really says a lot about Goreos. Yeah, I agree. Goreos had ooh. Okay, so let's play Norin turn 1. With the intention of playing the Relic of Legends on turn 2, probably. Maybe we'll play the Kataki, but this gives us the option. Yeah, sorry, not Norin. Goreos had a slightly positive record. It was 52% over a huge sample size because it was the most popular deck. It was like kind of telegraphed to be a popular deck too, but this is what's the thing about Goreos is that if you don't have like a naturally favorable matchup for it, which obviously like you can be kind of favored against it, it's a deck that's very difficult to hate out. It's a deck that like it's a very difficult deck to just be like, I'm gonna sideboard Surgical Extraction and I'm gonna be great against Goreos Vengeance. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way since the Goreos deck is so good. The Goreos deck is so good at just winning without their Goreos plan being online between Frog and Ephemerate Riddler and all their interaction and Teferi. It's like your most effective graveyard hate isn't that effective against them. Obviously, this hurts me a little bit with the Amber, but it hurts them more than it hurts me. How many decks does Infinite Life beat? Almost every deck right now in paper and on Magic Online, like no deck. All Goreos players in Jason at top 32. Sometimes you just have to dismiss facts and still continue to hate Jays. Yeah, I will say, this was a good modern PT. Like the last two sucked. PT Lord of the Rings and PT MH3 were both, I think, just not I guess Lord of Things is okay, but they just weren't great quality formats. But Modern's been on a long healing journey. Things are good right now. They can be better. They can always be better. But I'm having a good time. They lose the Darksteel Citadel, and they keep the drone. Sometimes with Kataki, it's kind of hard to tell. Like, did they mean to do that? Was it worth to warp Haliya get Kataki gain 3+ draw card? Oh yeah, so I forgot that with the Norin we would get to draw the card there. So yeah, I would usually think we should do that. Now we have a little bit. I guess what we could do here is we could attack with the drone and then play another Kataki, or attack with the Kataki into the drone. Oh no, but then the Norin leaves, and so I can't tap the Mox. Okay, we'll just pass. I don't want to warp the Haliya without getting the card, but I should have got the card last turn. I went undefeated FNM with Cascade Birthing Rituals. Awesome. Yeah, that deck is a real treat. The PT metagame doesn't look great for it, although it's mostly just kind of bad against Belcher. It's not. I think it's okay against Gorios. Maybe it's okay for the PT metagame. Oh right, sorry. I don't know why I thought they could block. Yeah, we should have attacked. That's okay though. All right, we need to draw some mana. I guess what we can do here is cycle the Haliya with the extra Norin. When you say Frog decks do well against Belcher, does that include Esper Blink without any main deck permission? No, so I know it's a little confusing because both decks play Frog, but usually when I or someone describes Frog, they're not talking about the dirtily Blink build. They're talking about like Blink is like Solitude Ephemerate, and then Frog is Counterspell permission. Esper Blink sucks against Belcher. Do you make changes this week? Moxfield seems to be the same. Oh, we have got Reki in here. Is that really not right? Sometimes I change it and I just don't click save. No, the Moxfield's right. Weird game. Marn looks so freaking great over the weekend. I agree. It is a good format, and so like again, things can get better. They can always get better. But things are, wait, I guess they misclicked here. Yeah, no worries, great. Oh, they've drawn like a this card, Whip Flare. I knew a card they were gonna cast. I forgot the name. Like I was gonna name Artifact Pyroclasm, and I was like, I'll just wait to see. I'll wait to see here. So I think I'm actually just gonna cast Relic of Legends since I'm having so many mana issues. I'll let them redeploy their artifacts before playing the Kataki. What does better Modern from here look like to me? I mostly would like to see a format that's less dictated by the MH3 cards, because I think a lot of them lead to kind of a cyclical metagame. I think a lot of the cards lead to poor play patterns. But I'm not trying to suggest any bans today. Just trying to talk about it. But I do think a lot of the MH3 cards are still bringing the format down. And another card that I can't talk. All right. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and tap the Norin to Relic before we lose it. I have 5 mana right now, but each one of these, so okay, this is 5 mana. I should be able to play Reki plus any 2/2 drops. Does this one red creature cannot attack? No, it says whenever this attacks, or a player casts spells, you exile it, then it returns to the battlefield under its owner's control. So this comes back and you draw a card off Satoru every single turn. You gain life and draw cards off Haliya. It triggers Guide of Souls and Arbaaz is what this card is doing here. It's definitely a weird one. So I think I want to go for the Satoru because I get the card draw off the Norin. Although we'll see if we draw a land, we can also play the Basim before playing the Kataki, of course. I guess we could when we play the Kataki, we could draw a land and then play Basim after. Do I play the Aether Vial? No, I'll just play the Basim now. Yeah, it's right. It can attack, but then it gets exiled. So sometimes you do want to attack with Norin because that's how you can get it to trigger and come back and figure your stuff. In the 2 cycles you described, Eldrazi Tron is bad against both combo cycle, Boros cycle. Why is it ever played? No, I think it gets good after this cycle where things are rising to beat Belcher and stuff. Tron's instance play on that. Also, I don't think Tron is that bad against Boros. Although we could actually see how it did at the PT. Did I create blue-white energy? I mean, kind of. Like the thing is, it's like I was like I had maybe the first draft of Quantum Energy. Gab's build was pretty different, like main decking the Phantoms, which I think is a pretty good evolution. I don't think it's a good to take credit for a deck also that that like basically came out like a deck comes out. It's not the most complicated deck to play and build. I think a lot of people were going to build Blue White Blink, so like it's not really a deck I think I or anyone should take a lot of credit for because it's the kind of deck that like you know it's just a deck that exists because of a new set. It's not like a super complicated thing. I think Gab deserves the most credit for this Blue White Blink list for sure. It was a face-up deck. Yeah, exactly. UK Rakdos Scam or Rakdos Luris. Rakdos Luris I take a lot of credit for. I take no credit for Scam. Where are we? Oh yeah, I wanted to, what did I? Oh, yeah, I wanted to look at Boros versus Tron. So Eldrazi Tron against Boros Energy was 11 and 7. So also just good against Boros. I do wonder, like, if you picked Boros for this event, I do wonder if like that meant that you maybe didn't do that much preparation. I don't know. Putting the little guys in that deck was a moment of insight. I mean, I don't know. It's I tend to like not like to try to give myself a lot of credit for anything. I tend to like to just leave the cards on the table, and you can form your own opinions about what I do and about the stream. You know. This is not a bragging stream. Might probably take the Witch Enchanter, right? So if they take the Witch Enchanter, it's weird because okay, they took the Emperor, although I guess Emperor can target the Witch Enchanter. Because what I wanted to do was I wanted to cast the Relic of Legends, and then I wanted to set up where I could go Violin Reki and try to chain some stuff together. Now if they just hold up the Witch Enchanter, we're gonna be kind of cooked. Yeah, the World Champion card looks sick. Very, very cool. You take some credit. What's the point? What's the point of me coming on here going, yeah, Claws of Gix from Shuhei. That was me, bucko. Like, no, Shuhei took the fucking card to the event and did well, you know? Like, what? There's no point in coming on here and trying to claim credit for myself. You can form your own opinions. I like Claws of Gix. Like there's a lot of parallel thinking that goes on in Modern. No one owns any decks. No one owns any ideas. It's all out and it's all shared, and that's what's beautiful about the game. Okay, they return to Solitude to their hand. So probably cooked here. Although we do get to play a second Reki. They have Solitude. I think was there 2 Lavinia, 3 Jirina this time? Well, -1 Amber. You go -1 Yera also. Grossfield is 17 months. Thank you. Welcome back. What's my take on Jason Gorios? I'm a big time hater. I know it did well in the event. I've always been a big time hater. That being said, in one of the backup decks today, I'm playing a card that I've chat talked my entire streaming career. I'm so embarrassed to even say what it is. Spike, did Watsy ask you to brew Spider-Man cards due to declining sakes? I don't know what this means, but I brew with every set. So excited for World Champions since now Kai is coming. That'll be exciting. No, I have Path to Exile as one of the backup decks. Oh, disgusted to say it. I have Path to Exile. What have I become? Uh-oh. I have drawn my basic. Okay, they didn't take the Phantom, thankfully. They just took the Solitude. I could explain. I'm playing Relic. I'm playing Field of Ruin and Isochron Scepter. Like 8 fields and Isochron Scepter. I thought I could play some Path to Exiles. So they main phase the Solitude, which probably means they have another Overlord. Right. So next turn I could go Warp Haliya, cast Mox Amber, cast Yera, draw a card, and then save the Aether Vial for Satoru. Okay, so they did this so they could Emperor. Okay, I actually don't understand. I guess they just didn't want me to draw a card off the Basim, so they main phased. Alright, nothing changed, so Haliya, Amber, Yera. Name instant. It is Riddler, Trawler, Grave here. Guide of Souls. I don't know if I'm supposed to vial this in. I guess it's fine. I keep forgetting the name creature. Oh, they just main face the Solitude. Okay. Like the new card, Formidable Speaker and Yogg, as it means you can green sun to grab any non-creature IG Ballista if you don't call it. Yeah, I mean, Formidable Speaker seems great. There's a ton of applications. I agree. There's a ton of applications. It's going to take a while to even go through them all. Jerry, 29 months. Happy wedding month. So excited. Yeah, me too. Actually, technically it's next month, but we're under 30 days. I'm feeling pretty good. We got a few more tasks to get done, but we're not panicking or rushing or anything. And I'm very excited to just take a nice honeymoon. It's going to be really relaxing. I guess if I draw Reki, I'll really wish that I played Wild and Satoru first. Another guide. Sure. Definitely holding the Amber. We get to jump the guide. We get to draw another card end of turn. Not the most helpful. What percentage of Haliya do you expect to be mentally brewing modern decks? Not too much, probably. But I kind of can't help myself sometimes. What do you think of Tax Collector with Arachne and Lightstall? I have been thinking about Tax Collector some. I do remember it was one that like kind of simply did not play test very well. Like when we played it, it wasn't very good, and so usually I try to stay away from cards I felt that way about. Right, big draw step. Big draw. So this Norin by itself is enough life for Haliya, enough to jump with Guide of Souls, and it draws me a card. I think it's going to be better to hold up the Plaza than it is to play this Aether Vial. I think we should just get in for the most damage possible. So we get to draw 2 cards when Norin comes back. Gain 3 life and 2 energy. Keep up Plaza of Heroes. Not a bad draw. Blink loses both Belchers and Gorios, so not a good deck. Yeah. Like, Blink has always been the kind of deck that, like, people play because they're very thirsty to play value decks. It's the kind of deck that players gravitate towards because, yeah, make a lot of value. You feel really good when you play your cards, but I don't think it's a very good archetype. We are playing against it right here. Yes, it's not an archetype I recommend. I think this deck is such a treat. I'll be right back. On the draw, I think we can keep this. Just Norin, like the backup Satoru means we're going to draw extra cards after the first one dies. Hopefully we get to draw one off the first one. We'll definitely play the Aether Vial first. What's a little bit weird about Aether Vial means that we actually don't get to draw a card off of the... Like, if you go cast Norin, cast Satoru, then you get to draw a card. I guess no room for any of the channel Neo lands. Yeah, your mana is so... Like, this is a deck that has every color and, like, Dimir cards, too. It's like the casting requirements are too steep to play any of the Kamigawa lands, I think. They just play an Emperor of Bones on turn 2. Not too scary. Yeah, I think we should cast the... Oh, no, sorry. I always forget this. You just vial in the Nor, and then you cast the Satoru. And then you get to draw the card, duh. I don't know why, for some reason, that line is invisible to me. They're coming on the Pro Tour. We've been talking a lot about the Pro Tour. I don't have a YouTube short for you. I can't, if you go, Spike, what are your thoughts on the Pro Tour? I can't just summarize for you, but I can offer you a Twitch stream where we continue to chat a little bit. That's what I got for you. Dude, this Wrath is... I get to draw a card. My opponent cast Wrath against my Humans deck, and it was a 2-for-1 for me. It was a 2-for-1 for me. That's unbelievable. Wait, and it was a... I get to block Emperor of Bones. Wow. My opponent cast Wrath of the Skies, and I got a 2-for-1. Also, Belcher player, not winner, who just straight up chose creature off the archaeologist during top 8. So I know that, okay, if I was a real content creator, I'd be like, cheater in the modern Pro Tour! And this would be the thumbnail would look like. And then I'd be like, can you believe they cheated? But I mean, the reality is, like, not only are like these PT events incredibly high pressure, they're also incredibly long. People aren't sleeping. You can. It was probably hydro. I didn't see it, but it was probably hydroelectric specimen, right? And it's like, it's just. I think it's just an easy mistake to make. I think it was almost definitely an innocent mistake. And if it wasn't, it wasn't. We don't know. We don't know the contents of their heart. But I am generally pretty interested in giving people a lot of benefit of the doubt on this kind of stuff. All right, I think I'm just gonna play this one a little bit slower here. Obviously, it could have been cheating, but I don't know. I'm just very interested in giving people the benefit of the doubt. I guess I should just cast Yera here. Because they either have they might have Binding and Bolt, but they might also have Stub, and so we just don't want to run the Relic into that. But we just get to see their hand here. So they have 2 Bolts, so we just get to name instant. All right, Bolt. They also submitted Bloom under Orange Chain, which is also a very easy mistake to make. Yeah, for sure. And again, it is possible. It's possible. I just like to think that the vast majority of people in these situations are not trying to cheat. That is my experience. That's my impression as someone who has played. Hold on. If I warp the Haliya, I guess I need to draw. Then I don't get to draw the card off the Reki Amber. Can they bolt trick on the stack? It's not a when it enters. It's an as it enters, which means that there's not a window for them to bolt. No. If Norin attacks, does it exile itself? Yes. So that is relevant sometimes. He changes choice, which is a questionable call. Yeah, again, it's possible. But this is the thing too. Is it's like the Magic community, like the online Magic community, is very thirsty and for cheating scandals. They are the most viewed videos on YouTube. But like, just the reality is, Pro Tours being on camera, it's very high pressure on a very low sleep. It's high pressure, low sleep. People make little mistakes. Magic in general it's a more complicated game to play than it ever has been, and because it's more complicated in paper, more mistakes are going to happen. I'm sorry, I don't know why I was thinking they were playing Belcher. Let's bring in the Lorans. Let's bring in the Jirinas. So I'm going to cut the fourth Yera, which I've been kind of liking against the interactive decks. I think fourth Norin, fourth Vial, and then one more card, maybe fourth Reki on the draw. Yes, warp cost counts as a cast. What is my greatest competitive achievement? I don't know. I mean, I got 23rd at Team PT Minneapolis. I've played 5 PTs. I've day 2'd all of them. I haven't had any super stellar results. I've 12-3'd 2 GPs. Something along those lines. That's kind of just my tournament history. Decided to stop, even though I was 3 pro points away from silver. Decided to pursue a career streaming instead of pursuing a career playing the PT because they're doing away with the pro point system. I think on the draw against Zoo, we should keep this. Fourth Vial or Amber because you cut the Amber instead of Vial. So yeah, I guess that this deck is playing Binding, but against the Prismatic ending deck, I prefer to cut the Vial. But this deck is playing a little less interaction for the Vial, so I prefer to cut the Amber, although that was definitely worth saying out loud instead of not saying out loud like I didn't. Was my greatest MH3 advisor achievement. I wish I do regret not advising on MH3. Yeah, I won the trophy race. A made up event. Have you ever won a match against a pro? Yeah. Probably almost any pro you could think of I've played and win and lost against. Maybe there's some exceptions, but there's not too many people I can think of that I haven't played against and haven't played against multiple times. Especially if you count Magic Online, it's like it's basically everybody. I'm sure there are some, but yeah, most. I remember the first big pro I played against was Eric Froelich, and I was so nervous, my hands were shaking. I was playing Grixis Delver, he was playing Temur Twin. My hands were shaking so bad, I dropped half of my deck on the floor, and I just looked straight up and I said, "Judge, I've knocked my deck on the floor mid shuffle." I don't even know why I was doing that. I didn't see any cards, and then he gave me a warning for looking at extra cards, and Eric Froelich said, "That was bullshit." And then I thought that was nice, and I won. All right, opponent's down to 16. Great draw. Let's get the Jirina down. What's the combo with this deck? You get a Relic of Legends and then 2 Yera, and Otskis. Or in paper, it's a spider person. And then that's infinite ETBs, which can either be infinite life off, and energy off Guide of Souls, infinite pings off of Arbaaz Mir, infinite life off Haliya, or infinite card draw off Reki. And if you have infinite card draw, then you can go infinite damage with the Arbaaz. And then what's cool is you get to do this in, like, with a lot of fast mana from like Relic and Mox Opal, a lot of card draw from Haliya, Basim, and Satoru, and Reki. And then you just kind of like chain this stuff together while also having a beatdown plan. Flame with the 24 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Warning for looking at extra cards while shuffling a deck, presumably after searching. I think it was after searching. It's been a long time. I think it's not a call that would have been made today. But if you weren't playing in like the 2010-ish era, no, it wasn't 2010, was it? No, it was not. I graduated high school in 2012. In like the I guess that was probably 2014. In like the 2014-ish era, it was just a very different environment. It was a lot like, it was like quieter and like more professional, and like you had to be very serious and very intentional with everything you said and everything you did, otherwise you would get got. Did you considering fitting green for time of need? No, 2 mana sorcery speed tutors that reveal the card you're tutoring are bad. Also, it's kind of impossible to flash a spell like that right with the mana base. Rob Duster with the 4 years. Let's fucking go. Be doing well. Also doesn't even find Relic of Legends. Is it Wrath Disguise? We have a backup Jirina if it's Wrath, so happy enough with this. Hair looks up. Yeah, I think that I'm happy with the hairstyle change. Feeling pretty good about it. I think it's an overcorrection from an earlier, looser era. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. All right, I don't know if they knew that they had the Binding the Relic. Maybe they did. We do just have a backup Relic, which is nice. How much damage do we have? We have 5, 6, and then I guess we should Loran to get a Relic instead of casting a Relic, because this is plus 2 life, plus 2 energy, and plus 1 mana off the Relic tap, of course. Tapping Loran to draw a card and then web-slinging it back to hand has been pretty cool also, if you missed that last time. Sorry, I just, for some reason, I mentally skip past the top abilities every single time. Okay, so we're at 14. We can jump 1, but not 2. I can jump 2 if I play the Satoru, but then I'm kind of low on blockers. But I get to gain 2 more life. I think what I'm going to do is jump the Satoru and then plan to chump one of the Kavus with a guide. Remember combat, passing through beginning of combat, start declaring attackers. I have a story about that. It was what was the card? It was a 1 mana 1/1 at the beginning of combat. You got +2/+0. I wanted to respond to that trigger, so for some reason, it was so that it couldn't crew their Heart of Kieran. I remember I wanted to respond to that trigger in their beginning of combat step, so they couldn't crew Heart of Kieran with it. My opponent said, but there was this weird trick. It happened at the Pro Tour, then it happened everywhere, where you could just in paper shortcut to declare attackers, and your opponent couldn't do anything about it. And this was like day 2 of like a local the Hunter Burton event. My opponent went combat. I said this is literally what happened. They go combat. I said in your declare attackers phases, I have responses. They called a judge, and the judge ruled that they could declare attackers. There was no pause. They said combat. I said in your declare attacker step, I have responses. I was not allowed to respond to the trigger, and I lost the game because of it. It was unbelievable. Okay, so now they have Trample. Do I need to play around Tribal Flames? Can I play around Tribal Flames? This beats a Bolt. And then this beats a Flames, because I go to 6. And then I get to keep the guide, so it seems... No, I don't get to keep the guide, because then the Trample's over. Did they crew the heart? Yeah, they crewed the... I lost because they crewed the heart. It was such bullshit. Pure ban with the 34 months will come out. Did I appeal? I did appeal the call. It like that was just the ruling. In big events, you could appeal a bachelor's call. Yeah, and sometimes like for some reason that was just how the ruling was back then. It didn't make any sense. Okay, so we get to play the Jirina to see if they have a removal spell to bait out. Jirina's been so good in this deck. Winter with the 14 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Okay, so now we have an unblockable Basim that is presenting lethal, which I think we'll just go ahead and see if this works. I don't think there's anything they can have. That's okay, Winter. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for the Twitch Prime. I do really appreciate it. I'm glad to see you in chat when you can make it. All right, let's get a trophy prediction going. This deck has been a breath of fresh air. I just we lost playing for the trophy at our first league. We did just 0-2 drop, but there's something here. There's something here. Nice looking hand. Just during the stream, did you watch the PT? No, like I kind of had it in the background while I was playing Hades too. If I'm going to be completely transparent, I was watching some of it. I did like it. I do think the modern metagame looks good. It looks like things have been in a steady positive direction for about a year after being, or whenever the unbans happened. Whenever they banned Ring and banned Nadu, and then the unbans happened, it's been like a steady, slow chart upwards, and I think we're still getting there. Still getting there. Modern has never been a perfect format. It kind of never will be a perfect format, but things are good at the moment. Okay, we're up against Belcher. This deck works mainly due to Relic. I mean, it's a big part of it. Like, you have a lot of card draw, and you have a lot of fast mana. Relic is part of the fast mana. So I don't know. I don't know that I want to attribute any one single thing here to the deck working necessarily. What about Breach? The Breach metagame was an improvement from the previous metagame. We had the worst era ever, which was the Ring Nadu era. Slow improvement. Breach era. Breach ban. Slow improvement. It's been a slow, steady trickle upward from the worst era ever. Modern has never been a perfect format. It never will be. But we're on the upswing, and things are officially good, I think. Am I surprised about how bad Boros did at the PT? I didn't think it would do well. I've also been saying Quantum Energy is better than Boros for a long time, and I'm glad that seems to be the case. I didn't think it would do well. I did not expect it to do nearly this bad, no. It did, I think, shockingly worse than I expected it to. Yes, we'll go Haliya, Satoru, Violet Norin, draw a card off the Satoru, then draw a card off the Haliya. Then draw another card off the Satoru. The Neoform top 8 deck that can run hot essentially. Yeah, deck is definitely a run hot deck. I kind of like when Neoform is popular because like just any deck can play Vexing Baubles and Grafdigger's Cages. Not that those are like deterministically good against them, but like if the whole format is playing those cards, then you kind of get to hate it out. And I just generally like it when the popular decks in the format can be hated out. It's just not always the case. Like when Boros Energy is popular, like you can like with the whole format combined, which is kind of what's happening now. Like with the whole format combined, like if everything's a big combo and like Wrath the Skies and Solitude Ephemerate, which like the whole format kind of warps around it. When that's the case, you can just have a metagame that's kind of good against Boros. Can I gain enough life that I'm out of Belcher range? Probably not quite. How many? They have 2? They have 1. Okay. Is Azorius Energy a deck I created? I mean, technically, like, the Thief gets all the credit. Like, Energy is a deck that came out it was not a super hard deck to build. Nassif, like, this Nassif had a lot of innovations on the deck. I don't think anybody, myself included, can really take a lot of credit for a deck like Quantum Energy, which is just kind of an obvious deck that was going to exist, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think anybody should be really surprised that this was a deck that people built. Maybe they could be surprised that it's a deck that people did well with, right? I think it's fine, but I'm not trying to take any credit for that deck. They chose Flare of Denial here, which is good against my Relic of Legends. Drew another Haliya. So I can go cast this Haliya, cast Norin the Wary, Violin Satoru, bring back this Norin the Wary. So this is going to be 2, 4, 8, 10 life gained to go to 39, which is out of the range, or in the range of Belcher. I still died to Belcher. So I might bait the Flare of Denial off this. It's not super clear to me that they would take this bait. But if they counter this, then I can maybe resolve the Relic. Otherwise, I can just try to Vial in the Satoru, draw 2, and I can try to look for my Spider Lady to make their artifacts cost 1 more to stop them from comboing this turn. Nassif, Luna, and Reed were playing the same list. Yeah, but like, obviously we don't know exactly how the team like arrived on their 75, but like Nassif had been playing a lot of the Quantum Energy build, and like I feel like he really gets like I it's my impression that they're mostly playing like Nassif's build. Obviously we don't know for sure exactly like how the testing arrived, but I have tested with them before, and that's just kind of my impression that it was likely Nassif's version. Okay, so let's attack. Get to draw a couple more cards on the instep, gain a couple more life, but we are dead to land Belcher. Don't think there was any way to play around that in this game 1. Pretty sure we said in the interview got like, yeah, I didn't see the interview, but that was definitely my impression. One card deeper. I think Nassif does not get enough credit for how good a deck builder he is too. He's incredibly talented. He said on an interview the team came to like his list, but he was getting less fan of it closer to PT. That also sounds like Nassif. All right, so they have the Tamashi to go with the Belcher, or the Lotus Bloom. We'll see if they have the Belcher payoff here. Nassif is top 10 player all the time, maybe top 5. Yeah, we were doing the top 5 list, and I do think like there's a lot of question for like the 5 spot. But yeah, I think you have to put top 4 as Kai, Finkel, Javier, and PVDR. Sorry, Paulo Vitor Dama de Rosa, the best name in Magic the Gathering. And then there's like a lot of questions for the 5 spot. All right, dead. Down a game against Belcher, we get to bring in the Thalias, we get to bring in the Lavinias, the Hera's help. I think I'm going to bring in Dennick to stop Tamashi. I think I'm also interested in having maybe some access to Loran. I think we can cut an Arbaaz, we can cut a Norin, we can cut an Amber. I think we can go down like 2 Reckies. 1 Relic of Legends. Maybe it's kind of hard to resolve. 3rd Haliya. Maybe I go down on Guide of Souls. It does give me some good aggro pressure, but it's maybe not just. Maybe we cut all the guides. Maybe that's just not what this matchup is about. We play like 1 Jirina, 2 Loran. I kind of like this. No Elsphere Shahar. I think those are also people that you can have in like the top 5 conversation and almost definitely like make top 10. You know. Like it's like the C, like it like the C, Shahar, LSV. It's just like Reed, Simon Nelson. There's just a lot of people you can put in there. I think we can try this on the play. The Cavern of Souls is like really big in this matchup. The Steve is like, I think, just my favorite player. You went 3 Jirina against Belcher. Oh, I thought I had a. Sorry, I thought I had. Oh, you're right. For some reason, I thought I cut them. Although, like, the Jirina is like protecting the stuff and also being able to violate and stop Tamashi. Like, they're not bad, but 3 is probably at least one too many. Arbaaz Mir just because it's neat. You need one for. I guess maybe I meant to drag it at one of the Jirina's there, but yeah, the Arbaaz is so you can infinite combo. You need to keep one in. If they play a spell, we get to draw a card, which is nice. Not even own favorite player. Can you imagine being your own favorite player? I just finished a league where I played against Affinity 4 times. I'm tired, boss. Affinity does seem really popular today, but what's nice about Affinity is do you want to be good against Affinity? You can be great against Affinity. You can play a bunch of meltdowns. You can play Katakis. you can play like. I just love when a deck can be sideboarded against by any deck. I think that that's a really good sign for like a top deck in the format. And like Affinity and Belcher are like 2 clear examples of any deck can choose to be really good against this in post board. And other decks don't quite fit that category. They bounce my Satoru here. Yeah, I like Tom. Deflecting Palm worth playing with Belcher around. It's the kind of trick that kind of only works once against them. It's really bad against Tamashi too. So they might be setting up for a combo kill here. So let's cast the Satoru first. That's an interesting draw. Maybe I want to play that. I guess I should just play that over Yera because it lets me keep the Basim in play and it lets me make 2 things cost more. So we could still lose to Tamashi, but see if they even have the whir. Could be sync. They could bounce the Thalia here. I don't think I'll click on the link, no beats, but I'm also not familiar with Frank. Maybe I'll look at it later. All right, can they beat this Thalia here? Not with a Belcher. Yes, with a Tamashi. They could also just like play Belcher and pass. We don't have too many outs to that. How much damage do we have? We only have 7. What do you think about Archon Persistent Esper Blink? I think it's like clearly worse than Goryo's Atraxa because Atraxa pitches to everything. I think it's just like what you're describing is just the current Esper Goryo's build. You know, Persist I guess has the upside of like getting back your Overlords and your Riddlers, but also you can Goryo's Thalia. We did play Esper Goryo's with Thalia Overlord. It felt pretty good. All right, so they have the Belcher here. So I guess we need to draw a Loran or maybe a Relic of Legends. Although Relic of Legends not clear to resolve, and we don't have all of the combo, but we have a lot of it. So there's an Aether Vial. There's a Jirina, which can't give myself hexproof, unfortunately. I think I bounced the Thalia with Yera. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have attacked, so Relic of Legends is better. Because I guess now Relic of Legends just isn't a good draw, is it? All right, let's draw Loran. Okay, not a lot in their hand. So we can't. It's possible that they boarded in a basic. It's not very likely, but in these spots, you just got to make them have it. But we are probably not getting our trophy here. Few Norin triggers here. Yeah, they did not bring in the basic. Okay, so not trophying. Let's get a 4-1 prediction going. I think we keep this on the play with Mulligan on the draw, probably. 4-1 with this would be cool. We did 4-1 with this last week, although not with the Recce tech. I do really like this build. It's just so fun. Player also protects me. Yeah, I mean, it's not that the card has no upsides, but like, I don't know, like you could fog a Belcher. The problem is like all of these instant speed reactive cards to Belcher, they have like the really big problem of if your opponent's just going off with Tamashi, they're gonna have counter magic, and so they just kind of do nothing. So it's because of that, I don't think it's a great plan, but it is a plan. Wander there with the redemption. Welcome, welcome. Here's a mod for you. Finks with a 45. Welcome back. Would not have hated a removal spell here because we just have 2. Did I watch the PT? I watched a lot of it with it in the background while I played Hades 2. But yeah, I think it was a fun event. Modern metagame's looking good. A lot of like just I feel like it was an interesting and good Pro Tour, which I don't know if I have too much more to say besides that. They have the Kappa Cannoneer. Tommy, okay, not quite as good as a Kappa Cannoneer. 80's too good. I'm really liking it. It's a really deep game. It has a lot of depth. Is that the better way to put it? You want to play the Relic of Legends, and then I have. Yeah, I guess I just go Warp Haliya, gain a life. I think I saved the Haliya for next turn to draw an extra card off Recce. I just threw the easiest Hades 2 run on the final boss. Yeah, I almost did it last night. I've beaten the final boss only one time so far, but I'd beaten it before because I played the early access when it first came out. Yeah, Hades 2 is finished now. The full release came out last week. It's really good. It's obviously I haven't completed it, but I think it has a good chance to be better than the original. You just can't really know until you play the game, I guess. Do you get real money from people redeeming channel points? No. No. Isn't this Infinite Life with Haliya? No, because we can't rebounce this to our hand, right? Yeah, I think this is maybe like the best year for video games ever. I was talking about this with Esther, but it's just like Expedition 33, Split Fiction, Silk Song, Hades 2. Like, and those are just the games I like. There's also like Kingdom Come Deliverance 3, which I didn't really play. I played a little bit of it and just kind of wasn't for me. And then there's that Donkey Kong game people love. Like, it just seemed to be a great year for games. For me, Expedition 33 is still my favorite. Although I'm really liking Hades 2. Yeah, Split Fiction was so good. Yeah, I beat Hollow Knight, but I still have some other stuff to do. But I'm just like all on Hades 2 now. Okay, let's cast a Recce and let's play this game. Magic the Gathering Online, the greatest video game of 2025. Yeah, I also never got around to Blueprints, but I did hear it was very good. Maybe I should have played Haliya first, huh? So another one. You have enough life to draw a card off the Haliya. I think I will just go ahead and legend roll the Satoru. Step like this so I can make extra mana, of course. And should be better to hold up the Plaza of Heroes activation than the Guide of Souls, I think. Tell me a bad year for video games pre-2010. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't play a lot of video games from like 2013 to 2016. Maybe more like 2018. I played very little. Yeah, we might get Claws of Gixt here. What set excite me most next year? Loran looks really good so far. Lorwyn. I've never played a Lorwyn set release. Okay, they're not clawsing me too hard at least. Yeah, I think that set looks really good so far from what we've seen. I haven't looked super hard at the spoilers, but the cards I have seen are exciting. I am excited for Avatar, although I'm worried that the set won't feel that good because I personally haven't enjoyed Final Fantasy or Spider-Man, or I guess I never thought I would enjoy Final Fantasy, but I feel like the flavor of Spider-Man was it's just too many legendary creatures. It's too many. It's just too many. I'm kind of excited for The Hobbit. I got Springleaf Drum. The other hand is Shadow Spear, 2 mystery cards. The Shadow Spear costs 2 mana here. All artifacts cost 2. The new Evoke Elementals look great for limited, not strong enough for modern. I've only read the black, white, and blue black, but I think the blue black could be good. Like 3 mana to like get a card from their hand and have like a 5/5 or 6/6 seems okay. Like it kind of feels like to me like that card is a lot like Quantum Riddler, where people will be like, three mana to draw 2 cards. That's Elvish Visionary, but it has really big stats, and I just know this after a lot of brewing and talking about new modern cards. People do not think stats matter at all in modern. People do not think big creatures, big creatures that don't die to Fatal Push and Flage and Discharge. They think that just means nothing. But then it always inevitably ends up meaning a lot. All right, let's start off with a Haliya. Maybe we should have played Guide first, but we could draw so many cards. All right, I'll play the Guide now. I think we're probably not popping off too hard unless we just spike the other Yera. They bring the zoom back. Yeah, the zoom is not available in the deck submission area, but it's available on stream or mid match, from what I can tell. So Basim is really nice because I can cast the Relic of Legends at the very least to draw 1 extra card. Okay, here, although we've got the combo now. Maybe they could have a dispute. I don't know how they could. Oh, they're playing Thopter Foundry. Wow. We're gonna deck ourselves. So how you stop yourself from decking yourself is you find a third Yara, which is pretty easy because you draw your whole deck, and then you just bounce. You just bounce it once you. And you also have to draw an Arbaaz, but you just will because you're gonna draw your whole deck. Yeah, you got to name battle here. Expired 34 months. Congrats on the wedding. Thanks. I'm very excited. It'll be a great day. Look at the hand. I'm looking. Sorry, I need to yield to Riki, huh? It's okay. We can just, revel in our victory here. It is kind of funny how Yara keeps jumping from the left side to the right side. Yeah, we had one of the web-slinging uncommon Spider-Man, but that card is just not very good, and it just doesn't seem very necessary, especially with Riki, because you just get to draw so many cards that you just find two of these eventually. Now we do need to find an Arbaaz eventually. And another one of these. And then we gotta keep clicking. But I bet they'll concede once they see the loop, because they're a Thopter Foundry player. They wouldn't be so deranged. So yeah, we're eventually gonna draw into Arbaaz, which is gonna drain our opponent for 1 every time we do the loop. And then we'll find the third third spider person, whatever it is. And then we'll bounce the Reki so we don't deck ourselves if it's too deep in the deck. I'm currently ahead on clock, by the way. No, I haven't lost the clock. I'm not going to, probably. I might lose to misclicking, more likely. It's very weird. She just keeps going. She's on the left side, she's on the right side, she's on the left side. It doesn't make any sense. I swear there's a couple in the deck, You mentioned not liking the Grist versus Brutescale, the deck as a whole, or just the whole version. I mean, Brutescale's a good deck. I just haven't been convinced. Like, people get really excited for that build. It just doesn't seem like it's doing so well. It's just the short answer, I guess. It's not that I know it to be bad necessarily. It's just that it's just one of these decks that I see people getting more excited than it seems like they necessarily should. Like, it's just kind of a cool deck, I think, more than it is a good deck. Okay, here's the win condition. Is Rona for infinite mana totally unnecessary and unhelpful? I mean, I'll take infinite mana. I have played Rona in the shell in the past. The thing is, Rona is not mostly... Like, infinite mana isn't that important. As you see here, you don't need infinite mana. Infinite mana is nice if you have it. It's not, really all that necessary. Rona is more of a card selection card than Rona is an infinite mana card in this kind of deck. But I think Rona is worse than Reki, Basim, Satoru, and Haliya. I think all of those are better card advantage cards. And so I would rather just play them, if that makes sense. Thalia might be better against this build because they're playing weapons manufacturing. They're also playing Quantum Riddler, which is something I like to see. Lavinia is something I like on the play. I don't know if I like it as much on the draw. Don't know. Kataki is kind of bad against weapons, though. Doesn't Kataki kill me? No. When you board it in against Affinity, is much more effective against them than it is harmful against you. Oh, you just mean against the weapons. Yeah, maybe. I thought you just meant in general. Yeah, maybe we just don't bring it in. It's really bad against the weapons. Don't know why I thought you meant in general. Yeah, I think we just bring in... Well, maybe we'll cut the Jirinas. And just be like full combo. Is the one kind of attacking? So yeah, you do an infinite loop with Relic and the Spider, and then you drain them with Arbaaz Mir, and you can draw infinite cards with Reki. Sounds pretty good if we draw one of these lands. I think I'm gonna keep it. If we miss for a turn and we just play Norin, that might be okay. And if we miss all the way, we go to game 3. Is there any alternative to Arbaaz? Arbaaz is the best in slot. It's a legendary human that drains on historic cards. It's like good to cast. It's definitely best in slot. You could also play Sorin, but Sorin means you can't have attacked. Might cut like 4th Reki and try a Sorin for a bit. Come on, Cavern of Souls. Well, we do get to draw a card. Oh, so because WotC didn't have digital rights to Spider-Man, they weren't allowed to put up any of the new Spider-Man cards in the PT stream, which is, if it's true, is really funny. It definitely might be true. I don't. Who knows what's true these days, huh? There's also non-legendary human. You really want it to be legendary, you know. Sorin could work too. Maybe Sorin is better, but Arbaaz has also been good. Like it's good with Norin, right? Like it just Norin triggers at every turn. I mean, if I draw a land, I can go Basim into Aether Vial. We've got a chance, but yeah, I might be playing Heroes Hangout soon with Dreadhorde Arcanist. Got a bunch of decks to get to though. I remember when, I don't know when this was. I think it was like I was maybe gonna go on like coverage for PT Lord of the Rings, but someone on the coverage team told me I need to say the Lord of the Rings instead of Lord of the Rings when I talk about the set. It's very important you say the Lord of the Rings. All right, let's go to game 3 here. Or are you getting the extort mana from Sorin? You don't need the extort mana. You just need the infinite life from Guide or Haliya. But you also get the extort mana from Relic of Legends if that's something you want. All right, I want some Lavinias on the play. Yeah, I do think the Dreadhorde Arcanist guy actually gave us kind of the idea to play the Heroes Hangout build. Oh no, I clicked keep and the stupid basic planes keeps burning me. Maybe we shouldn't play it. I mean, actual no basics though is tough. We should have mulliganed. I just saw 2 lands, Basim Ember, and I'm like, okay, let's go. Yeah, there is a combo. Correct. We got a very strong talking to you about the Lord of the Rings. Is the book, not the films. We couldn't ref the films or I'll get trouble. Yeah. It might have been you who told me, Will. All right, we'll just rip the land this time, just like we did last game. Oh, wait. Sorry for keeping this hand. Please forgive me. Fine. Sideboard the basic. That could work. I think 1 basic's just probably the right thing to do. Value Town, huh? Alright, well, we'll tick this up and we'll draw a land here. And then we'll cast our Basim. We'll cast the Amber draw card. Really hope they play a Thopter Foundry for my Loran, I guess. If I draw another Mox Amber, do I just cast Loran? I don't know. Let's see what we draw. Okay, not a problem to worry about. Yeah, Belcher won the... Interesting, Belcher won the PT, and it had 2 copies in the top 8. But it had a negative win rate overall. Hopefully they don't have Urza this turn, huh? It was Belcher that won the PT, right? They flip the Tamio. Notably, if Basim hits a Planeswalker, you don't get the counter. Okay, don't mind this so much if they target Basim, because we have backup, of course. I mean, every Pro Tour champion has ran well, you know, but they've also played very well and had, you know, a good list. I don't know how different their list was, but always a combination of these things, you know. Right, draw a card. Hopefully a good card. Huh? Remember this was a 1-lander. I was gonna play Decadence Houston. We're gonna play Blink, Riddler, Zoo, or Ice Tail. I do like the Ice Tail deck. I think Riddler doesn't make a lot of sense in Zoo. You'd have to sell me on that one, but between those, probably just Sky Blink. I do like Ice Tail Eldrazi, so maybe that one. Tommy on the sideboard was great. Watching the game 3 of the finals was masterclass on piling Belcher. Genuinely insane play. So many spots could have just lost played into their opponent. Yeah, I agree, played well. Although there's just like never, I felt like any reason to tap out against Neoform. How bad is E-Tron? The numbers looked pretty bad for it. Like 0-13 against Titan was pretty funny at the PT. I guess we play land first so you can pay for a Rebuke. See what we draw off the Relic. Giving my opponent a card is kind of risky. The Loran, probably don't want to do that. What's your risk? Oh, sorry, I was thinking of the Neoform match. I don't think I watched the finals, to be honest. I guess we save that for Basim. Should have left at the Plaza. Plaza. At 53. I thought Tron was below 50, but not by a lot. Let's double check. Oh, it was above 50, despite losing being 0 and maybe Tron was just good. Okay, Tron was good against Gorios, good against Belcher, good against Energy, good against Affinity, good against Blink, good against Neoform, 0-13 against Titan. Okay. Maybe it was just a good choice, and then you have no chance against Titan. And no possible, maybe not no possible sideboard plan. But like, I don't know what you're supposed to do, and neither do they apparently. No one has any idea what to do. Yeah, the spreadsheet's pinned to the top. Thank you, Frank Karsten, for always coming through with these great metagame numbers. The Titan win rate is wild. Yeah, despite the metagame looking really bad for Titan, Titan had the highest win rate of any of the prominent decks here, or any of the most played decks. Probably tap the Loran end of turn here. Oh, okay, I guess not. I thought I had that ready to go. I think I'm gonna keep this on 2 for Satoru. And then we could just keep the... Well, no, I guess we want to attack, and then let's attack the Tamio, then we can tap this one to Relic of Legends, then we can tap this one to Relic of Legends. Although maybe I could have jumped this Loran with Guide of Souls if I found a creature off the Basim draw. So some different angles here, I guess. You called that before the tournament where we saying Titan have the highest win rate? Yeah, I mean, of course. Of course. Does it mean Amulet was the best choice for the PT? Well, it's kind of tough to tell, right? Because so Control and Brood Scale did have higher win rate, but their sample size was so much smaller than Titan. It's hard to say for sure how much of a better choice it was because the sample size is so much smaller. But it is possible. I'm pretty sure I get to draw the card off this, right? So this will be 4 life total gained. I think you should warp here probably. Golgari Brood Scale was just 1 player. Yeah, and then Mono Green Brood Scale was 3 or 4 players, I think. There was 19 matches recorded with it. Also, like someone dropped, so kind of hard to tell. Oh, sorry, not someone dropped because it's 8 each. Yeah, I don't know how it ended up being 19 though. Yawgmoth did bad. There was 1 player on it. They went 2-3. Tron is a good choice if you dodge Titan. Yeah, that is true. Tron was a good choice if you dodge Titan. I didn't actually realize that it had a favorable matchup against every top deck, and then 0-13 against Titan. Which is an interesting data point. Storm to disagree. There's only 1 Storm player, so it's kind of hard to, you know, when it's literally just 1 player, the variance is so high you shouldn't think about it too much. Guess I cast this Haliya. Totally okay if they counter it because we got the backup in our hand, of course. Now we can jump twice. So I think I'm going to go Basim at them. And then jump the white creatures. Was it? Yeah, so Dingo had 4 Hex Drinkers in his side for the Belcher matchup, which I thought was really weird. But he said that it was testing well, and I think it's interesting. But the problem is, like, it just can't... If your opponent knows about it, they can, like, and they have Whir for, like, Duskrow's Reliquary, then to me it just seemed like they could just too easily just like blow you out. It didn't seem like a very good plan in open deck list to me, but he said it was testing well. I didn't ask him how it went. Dingo did requalify. He went 5-5 in modern and then 5-1 in limited, which is awesome for someone who is like a constructed streamer to do that well in limited. I think the best I've done in limited a PT was 4-2. I think I've only played limited at 2 PTs because the 2 of them were arena, which there's no limited, and I played the team PT, where there was no limited. So I think I 4-2'd both of them. Yeah, I did 4-2 both of them. What's Amulet versus Neoform matchup? I think Neoform is favored by a pretty. We can even look, but I'm pretty sure it's favored. So against Amulet, it's 80%. It's pretty good matchup for them. Yeah, Hope of Gyapur, I think, was a pretty good option. Do I draw a card here? I think I'm gonna. Love how Reed was 1-4, granted back 9 in a row. Yeah, Reed is just like has just like I think you know you could say a lot about a lot of players and like how great they are, but Reed's attitude gives him like an insane degree of equity that's like hard to articulate even. He just really has that mindset that makes him great. How is Extra supposed to be good at Spellcher just as Savannah Lions? Well, I mean, it can get bigger than that, and then they have a hard time killing it. It's better than Savannah Lions, okay? It's not a lot better than Savannah Lions. All right, we're probably gonna combo off here. I don't know. We've got a lot of mana and a lot of cards. We'll see what's going on. We get to bounce the Basim, and then we can draw a card off the Basim, and then we can draw a card when we cast the Basim, and then a card off the again off the Basim. Now we can Violence Satoru and draw a card. Well, I guess that's not too different from casting it. All right, I guess I'll name Instant so that this doesn't affect my own artifacts. At 10 minutes on the clock, I mean, maybe I don't have enough time to execute my combo. Probably do. I'm ahead on clock, by the way. Ahead on clock. Oh, and that's the one I actually need to always yield to. Okay, so we got the... Although, here's the combo. So we'll see if they just concede. We got 9 minutes. We didn't take this long to combo kill them last time. Norin the Wary. Okay, we do only have one Arbaaz on the deck left, so this could take a while. The thing is, my opponent's playing Thopter Foundry, so it's like, why wouldn't they concede to me? Is this really the world you want to live in, Thopter Foundry player? It's also possible we could get there with Guide of Souls this turn, although the fact that I bounced the Basim makes that a lot less likely, I guess. No, so you don't deck because you can just bounce the Reki back to your hand with another Web-Slinger. Is casting other legendaries before Web-Slinging can be more click efficient? Maybe. I guess casting Norin is more click efficient. Not by very much. This helps the hand looking. I don't know. Maybe it's pretty relevant. Okay, we found the Arbaaz really early into the deck, so that's pretty lucky. We know their hand, so we know that this is a win. The combo is infinite life. No, so eventually you draw into. You can have infinite life, right? That is part of it. But the actual way you kill your opponent is with Arbaaz Mir. We have 2 in the main, although in matchups like this where your opponent doesn't have much creature interaction, I think it is right to cut down to 1 and just draw into it off of Reki. And they do concede, to their credit. So very fun deck. This is our second 4-1 with this deck. We're 4-1, 4-1, 0-2, so that's 8-3, pretty good. I do want to keep working on it. I think that this deck is kind of real, and it has room for improvement too. I'm kind of interested in going maybe down 1 Reki, maybe up 1 Jirina, maybe up 1 Sorin, maybe cut 1 Arbaaz for 1 Sorin. Arbaaz is also just good with Norin. Could maybe go down 1 Norin is something I'm thinking of. 8-4. Oh, sorry, 8-4. I just give myself another one. 8-4. Isn't for Reki. Yeah, I think trimming one Reki seems okay. But Reki's also really good in this deck, and you're okay drawing multiples. So I think it's 3 or 4, not 2 or 3. We got other decks, so let's go ahead and go to today's backup deck, which I think y'all will be excited for.